Mark Rogers TV with you once again on Big Ten football and our observations from conference play over this past weekend. Not a stellar performance across the board with Ohio State and Michigan State going down, but don't sleep on what Iowa pulled off in the fourth quarter and the most impressive performance by Illinois in winning over a solid Arizona State team. First, we go to Columbus. No passing game against Miami. That's what did in the Buckeyes. They somehow kept it close against the Canes despite passing for 35 yards and completing 4 short passes. The entire game. It was unbelievable to watch. Joe Bosserman is the starting quarterback. He's a senior. There's a reason that he has not started until now. He does not belong in this role. He doesn't have foot speed. He's not a big-time passer. ESPN college football analyst Todd Blackledge made a very astute comment during the game. I completely agree with this. If you don't have an NFL-type pocket passer, then you need a dual threat in today's college game. Bosserman will never step on an NFL field. What the Buckeyes need to do is play their stud, Braxton Miller, from day one. They should have done that against Akron 3 weeks ago. Let him take his lumps, turn over the football. We at least saw some flashes out of him in the fourth quarter where he picked up first downs running the football. He did turn it over. Yes, the Buckeyes are going to, again, take their lumps with Braxton Miller at quarterback, but long term, he is the solution, not Joe Bosserman. What looked good for the Buckeyes is that they still have a defense that's solid. Maybe not with the playmakers a la A.J. Hawk of the past, but a very strong defense that shut down Miami despite going three and out from the offense and being on the field all night long. Another star in the making at Jordan Hall at running back for Ohio State. He played his first game of the year after suspension, 14 carries, 87 yards, and even when Miami knew that the Buckeyes had to run the football, that's all they could do, Ohio State lined up in an I formation and their offensive line looked great. They ran the football down the Canes' throats. So the Buckeyes have defense and a running game. They've got to play Braxton Miller, take their lumps. They've got inexperience at wide receiver. The wideouts looked horrible despite their speed and talent. They don't catch the football. DeVere Posey can't get back soon enough. Luke Fickell left the field with 3 timeouts in his pocket. How does that happen when his team was just 1 score from being back in the football game until very late in the final minute? Luke Fickell with 3 timeouts, so that doesn't bode well for his game management. We'll have to keep an eye on that down the road. The Buckeyes, don't expect them to bounce back to their top 5 form of the past, but they will be a team to be reckoned with. Still too many great athletes on that squad. Iowa turned in the performance of the weekend. They looked completely outclassed by Pitt for 3.5 quarters. They looked slow and non-athletic. Then they turned it on. James Vandenberg, he looked like Joe Bosserman for the first 3.5 quarters. Then he looked like Tom Brady for the final 3 minutes in engineering 2 touchdown drives, 399 yards passing. Iowa's not a very good football team. They're in that top 40 to 50 range. This is not Kirk Ferentz's best team that's won BCS bowl games of the past. They will play slightly over 500, but they will be a spoiler in that Legends division in the Big Ten. Look out for the Hawkeyes. You will not want to play them in late November. Illinois, again, this was the big win of the weekend, taking on Arizona State at home, a strong Sun Devil defense, and Illinois winning it when Whitney Mercilus made a huge play. Illinois got pressure all day in this game with 6 sacks, forced the fumble that turned the game in the fourth quarter, and they've got a quarterback. Even though Ron Zook is going to rely on that running game more than anything, they've got to be able to pass it against the better teams, and Nathan Shieldhouse is that dual threat that we talk about. He went 11 of 15 passing in Illinois. Even some of the better Illini squads of the past, if you go through the record books, typically lose their big non-conference game early against a Missouri or a Pac-10 school, but they get over that hump, get into conference play in 2 weeks. Illinois could be a dark horse in this race. We also have Penn State as well. This situation looks much like Columbus, except Luke Fickell has coached 3 games and Joe Paterno 3 million. But the quarterback situation we're talking about, it's a mess. And there's no Braxton Miller to bring hope to Happy Valley. Rob Bolden's supposed to be the dual threat, the blue chipper, but he's not shown me much of anything. He's not dynamic passing or running the football. Matt McGloin, he's marginal. He is what he is. He went 13 of 19 against Temple as the Nittany Lions were really lucky to get out of that bowl game. And again, Bolden not making the spectacular plays. So Penn State very limited on offense. And the offensive line itself basically should be playing in Bloomington. I don't know what's happened to the recruiting of offensive linemen for Penn State, but it's been down in recent years. It's the defense that's solid and strong. They continue to be put in bad field position and continue to turn away the Owls. Can they do that against the better teams? Well, they stood up against Alabama for 3 quarters and played well before wearing down in the fourth. They gave up just 197 yards against Temple. So for Penn State, it's going to be the type season they had last year in winning 7 games. They can't do it against the big teams with that limited offensive play. They have got to find a quarterback in the future. My look at the Big Ten, as most of the contenders do not play BCS conference teams coming up, except Ohio State hosting Colorado. But we look forward to the first week of Big Ten conference play coming up October 1st on Mark Rogers TV.